Hi, I'm April Holmes for the United States. A lot happened today on day 4. Here's your headlines.
Irishman Jason Smith returned to the track to demonstrate why he's the fastest Paralympic athlete on Earth. He won gold in the men's 100-metre T13. Smith had hoped to compete in both the Paralympics and Olympics in London, but just missed out.
What a brilliant run from the Irishman, 10:46, a new world record.
80,000 people here. This is so close to home for us Irish. You know, the support I got in the stadium is absolutely unbelievable. Just really, you know, enjoy it and make the most of it.
Gives, and that's a great mark of sportsmanship as Volmet puts Bailey.
Hi, I'm April Holmes for the United States. A lot happened today on day 4. Here's your headlines.
Irishman Jason Smith returned to the track to demonstrate why he's the fastest Paralympic athlete on Earth. He won gold in the men's 100-metre T13. Smith had hoped to compete in both the Paralympics and Olympics in London, but just missed out.
What a brilliant run from the Irishman, 10:46, a new world record.
80,000 people here. This is so close to home for us Irish. You know, the support I got in the stadium is absolutely unbelievable. Just really, enjoy it and make the most of being here. And I suppose, next week it's all going to be gone and dusted, so make sure I just keep relaxed and have fun. Obviously watching the Olympics and disappointed I wasn't there. I honestly believed I could have ran the standard this year and should have, and 400ths of a second away is so close, and I put in a lot of hard work to try and achieve that, so looking forward, I think the best is still to come from me, so definitely looking forward. Hopefully Rio I can do what I wasn't able to do this year.
200 metres, T52 final, and they're away.
Also on the track, Canadian Michelle Stilwell defended her Paralympic title in the women's 200-metre T52 sprint wheelchair. Stilwell also registered a new Paralympic record. The 38-year-old will go for her second gold medal when she races the 100 metres on Wednesday.
So the Belgian that's providing the opposition, so it's Michelle Stilwell is well away. The Belgian won't catch her, the American far behind, and as we expected now. Can she beat that record? 33.79. It's a new Paralympic record.
Just to get out there and hear that crowd when you come out of the tunnel, pretty incredible to get that energy right from the start. A little bit nervous at the beginning, just because, it's the first race of the competition, but, I was able to focus and put it all together.
Where to from here? I guess, you've done basketball, you've done track, obviously you've got a few more events here in London, but a wheelchair rugby maybe, you'd qualify for that?
Wheelchair rugby's out of the question, definitely, but there's triathlon, hand cycling, table tennis, you name it. I love sport. Sport's a great thing for everybody.
One more event and then big celebrations?
Hope so.
Yeah. What do you got planned?
Nothing planned until after the race, honey.
The world's most famous Paralympian has already stamped his authority on London 2012. After competing in the Olympics, Oscar Pistorius has opened his Paralympic account in style by shattering his own 200 metres world record.
So it's Oscar Pistorius in lane 8, brilliantly away, absolutely flying. Jim Bombizzle in lane 4 going well as well with the red suit with the glasses, but Pistorius, as the bend unfurls, is in the lead. It's Pistorius all the way. Jim Bombizzle is also going to qualify, but Pistorius absolutely flying. Is he going to get the world record? He could, Look at that, 21.3. He's not only got the world record, he's taken over a second off it. He took 1.32 seconds, something like that, off the world record. Look at that. And a cheeky grin to the camera.
Jeez, cheeky. I didn't think he'd be going for a world record in the heat, but why not?
And Oscar's been telling us what it'll be like down on the track ahead of the 100 metres final.
I've got a lot of family coming out, and I know more or less where they're sitting, so if I get a chance before my race and I can see them, I'll give them a wave. That's always important. And it's amazing how much you can hear down on the track. Somebody shouts out, you can hear their voice quite clearly. and sometimes they say something and it just makes you remember, you know, that this is what we live for as athletes. You live to run in front of a crowd that big.
The Chinese table tennis team has won its first 2 gold medals at the Excel Arena. Fen Panfeng won the first gold after defeating Zlatko Kessler of Serbia 3-0 in the men's singles Class 3. Meanwhile, Lu Jing beat Pamela Pezzotto of Italy 3-0 in the women's singles Class 1-2 final. Rowing now, and home supporters at Eton Dorney have witnessed a huge upset. Britain's Tom Agar has never known defeat in the single sculls, winning every race he's contested on the international scene. He's also the defending Paralympic champion and 4-time world champion. But he began to slow, as Australia's Eric Horry made a tremendous effort in the final stages to not only catch the leading pack, but move into second place. China's Cheng Huang pulled away, taking his first gold Paralympic medal.
I've gone under the world record in the last week in training, so I knew I had the numbers. It was just trying to prove the point to everyone that just because I'm small, I can put it up against these other guys that are most probably double my size. So it certainly pays off for the hard work, and I guess one of the main things is, at least now when I go home and see my fiance and my 2 girls and my new baby boy Lewis, I've got a good excuse for missing the birth. So that's certainly, I've been on top of the moon, like the world, just all week since my son was born. So this just tops it off.
And a very good evening from the North Greenwich Arena here at London 2012. I'm David Oates. A couple of matches this evening in the wheelchair basketball competition. And first up, a mouth-watering clash between the top 2 in men's Group A. It's Australia against the USA. 6 per group, and this is top against second. Australia, well, their record 100%. They've won 3 out of 3. The USA have won 2 out of 3. The starting lineups, remember, 5 on a team with 7 in reserve. Everson, Norris, Hartnett, Blair, and the captain Brad Ness for Australia. Just looking there at Sean Norris a moment ago. And for the United States, opening lineup with Barber, Turek, Jennifer, Nelms and Nate Hines. And that's Trevon Jennifer that you just caught a glimpse of. Sean Norris of Australia. So Australia have beaten the Republic of South Africa, Turkey and Spain. The USA lost to Turkey but have beaten Italy and South Africa. So this the key clash in this group. The USA then in blue, coming forward. Inside now the three-point zone, shot from a fair way out, and first miss of the evening. It's now Norris who carries the ball into the danger zone as far as the Americans are concerned, and that's the first basket of the evening, and it's gone the way of Australia. Absolutely the same as Olympic basketball, this same court, nets at the same height. The USA move forward now with their number 4 Eric Barber. Jason Nelms, lovely basket from the side, makes it 2 apiece. This should be a really, really good game. Sean Norris. Back to Everson on the right-hand side. No foul there, we'll just restart with an Australian restart. This is Knowles. Sets himself and looks for some support and finds Stibners, who is on very, very early. And lovely basket from the Australians. They've moved into a 4-2 lead. 4 quarters, 4 10-minute quarters, just the same as Olympic basketball. USA in possession, and they'll look to live with the Australians as long as they can. Australia, hot favourites with this 100% record. 4-2. Don't forget that you can follow us on Twitter at Paralympic. Simple as that, at Paralympic. Please send us any thoughts you have on Olympic coverage or anything else you want to say about the Paralympics. As Knowles shoots and scores for Australia and makes it 6-2. Tristan Knowles, who plays for the Wollongong Roller Hawks in Wollongong in New South Wales in Australia. All the Australian players playing in their home country as a couple of players go flying. 1 or 2, interestingly, of the United States players are playing outside the USA. Joshua Tarek for Getafe in Spain, for example. We've got Matt Scott at Galatasaray in Istanbul in Turkey. And we've got Ian Lynch playing for Santa Lucia in Italy. 6-2 Australia lead then. 2.5 minutes played in this opening quarter. The USA in possession with Turek. Hits the rim. And Australia clear up. They come downfield with Brett Stibners. Stibners looks inside him and finds Bill Latham. Tristan Knowles. Almost timed out of that shooting opportunity, missed anyway, and now the USA will look to make the Australians pay. This is the USA's number 15, Nate Hines. Hines impeded there as he took the shot. First foul against Brett Stibners. And the free throws to the United States and to Nate Hines. He's a 4.5 classification athlete. 2 out of 2 with the free throws, so 6-4 now, Australia lead. I'll come back to those classifications if you are watching for the first time the wheelchair basketball, because it's quite complicated. Missed attempt by the Australians and the USA in possession. So basically all the players in the entire squad assigned a point value based on their functional ability. Starts at 1.0, that's for a player with the least physical function, right up to 4.5 for the most physical function. And during play, the total on-court point value cannot exceed 14. Good effort from Jason Nelms. As they say in the USA, good effort but no cigar. And now Australia will seek to make them pay, and they do. Their captain Brad Ness, another 4.5 classification player, makes it 8-4. So early lead then for the Australians. And a foul there on Justin Eveson as he attempted to clear his line, so the restart will be Australia's. Not too much doubt about that. I mentioned that you can tweet us at Paralympic about anything you want at all. A short time ago, I don't know whether he is still with us, but Christian Makanu tweeted us at Paralympic. He was watching from Deva in Romania. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. Deva, D-E-V-A, says he loved our sitting volleyball coverage. Well, there was a very exciting match at the XL Arena this afternoon. A women's sitting volleyball game. Opportunity here for Australia to extend their lead, and they do, to 10 points to 4. Sean Norris with the basket. You can see in the background, great crowd here tonight. They've got a free throw as well because he was impeded by Eric Barber there. Barber, who plays his basketball for the Waukesha Thunder in the USA. Australia not taking advantage of the free throw, but they may have the ball back, and that's an almighty tussle. Well, that was more like watching rugby or wrestling. Well, Hartnett up against a much bigger opponent there in Brad Ness. Nate Hines, rather, the American. Norris, it's a really good pass. The Australians have missed. They'll get another bite of the cherry here, and they've missed again. They were looking for the foul and the free throws, but officials not convinced. Still, the Australians lead them by 10 points to 4. Trevon Jennifer finds Joshua Turek. And now this is Eric Barber. Back to Turek. And Australia again will look to break, but the ball, which goes loose, is eventually picked up by Turek, who goes for the very audacious three-pointer. Well off target there. Clock stop now with 4 minutes and 49 seconds left in this first period. And Australia lead here by 10 points to 4. It's one of the most popular sports at the Paralympic Games. Actually originated and developed in the US by World War II veterans, part of their rehabilitation. It's played now in more than 80 countries. And the pick of those countries, 12 as far as the men are concerned, represented at this Paralympic Games here in London 2012. Opportunity for Australia to add to their lead, but that's an opportunity that is passed up by Yannick Blair. And now the Australian co-captain William Waller comes downfield. Finds Jason Nelms. Furious backpedaling there, but there's an opportunity for Australia. They were timed out there on the shot. 4 minutes and 11 seconds remaining in this first quarter. An advantage Australia just at the moment. 40 minutes in total the game, but the clock stops for breaks in play. And of course the teams can call 1 minute times out. Or timeouts. I think that's better English, isn't it? This is the USA coach you're looking at the moment, Jim Glatch. Was assisted by Tom Colwell and Melvin Jouet. And one or two others by the looks of things. And Australia, their coach is Ben Ettridge. He has the Italian Matteo Ferriani and also Tom Kyle as his assistants. Four points so far for Brad Ness. He is the Australian captain. I mentioned that there were 6 teams in each group. It's 5 for women, and the top 4 in each group qualify for the quarterfinals. After that, it's a straight knockout, but there's an advantage, of course, if you finish near the top. Here's an attempt from the three-point line, but missed, and it remains 10 points to 4 in favour of Australia. That's a foul called against the Australians. Second foul for Brett Stibners. A little bit clumsy, that. And shot from distance, but another miss. And an opportunity for the Australians, and Tristan Knowles on the break into the danger zone. Shot comes in unsuccessfully from Australia's Brett Stibners. And another collision there off the ball. Knowles and the American Nelms. And it's Knowles who was called for a foul there. Very physical approach from Australia in the early stages. 1 pointer there for the USA. Makes it 10-5 Australia. They'll have to keep with Australia here, will the USA. And Grant Mizens makes it 2 from 2 from the free throws. 10-6 the score. Stibners has the ball back for the Australians. USA 4 of their 6 points now from free throws. Knowles, that's a good interception there from Eric Barber. Australian restart. Knowles has it. Force wide and turns back inside and spreads play to Stibners for 3 points, but he's missed. And now Trevon Jennifer is able to march downfield. And the Americans, if they can score again, give them a great deal of heart in these early stages. And that's a superb basket from Joshua Turek. Closes the gap to 10 points to 8. Took that beautifully. Almost in one movement the way he took that ball in. He's also drawn a foul, so they've got an extra free throw to try to make it 10-9, and they have done. And this is shaping up to be a really good contest. 2 fouls now against Bill Latham. 10-9 the Australians lead. 10-4 a minute or so ago. 2.5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Stibners for Australia. Back to Knowles on the far side. He's got Blair behind. Stibners will go for the basket yet again. He has missed in America with Jennifer across the halfway mark. Turek to score here. The USA will take the lead. Jason Nelms for a three-pointer. Hits the rim of the basket and picked up by Stibners for the Australians. really good interception there. Dramatic as well from Trevon Jennifer. And if that had reached Phil Latham, would have been odds on to score, I think. Grant Mizens will come to take the restart. Finds Tristan Knowles. Knowles to Stivness, who almost went without the ball. They've got to get the shot in quickly. It's a three-point attempt, and again it's missed, and America mop up. And then spread play downfield. And I think that's a foul called against Yannick Blair. What a pass that was. Excellent take, and the ball knocked out of American hands by Blair. 2 free throws. This to tie it up at 10-all. Might have a chance to go 11-10 in a moment. Missed with the first one. Tarek will try again, and he will make it 10-10. Excellent recovery from the United States of America. They were trailing 10-4 not so long ago. 88 seconds left in this first quarter. Australia. Again, try. Oh, that's a superb shot from Tristan Knowles. That's the three-pointer. First three-pointer of the match. 4th attempt from the Australians. 0 from 3 for the USA. William Waller. Excellent basket from Waller. Makes it 13-12. Last 45 seconds. I think the Americans would take this scoreline at the end of the first quarter. Well, Stivner's had an opportunity to shoot for the basket there. Well, Stivner's trying to extricate himself from a mass of bodies, a tangle of bodies. And this time the foul goes against the Americans. That basket won't count. You can discount that. 25 seconds remaining in this first period. And Australia with the slenderest of leads. 13 points to 12. Sean Norris finds Eveson. Again, the Americans miss. The Australians rather miss, and the Americans will restart. 6 seconds only left in this first quarter. Let's get a shot in quickly. Last action of the quarter. Falls short from the USA, but that really was an excellent first quarter to this Group A match. Australia who are top, the USA who are second. Australia 3 wins from 3, the USA 2 from 3, and it's all to play for. Australia, after the first quarter, lead by 13 points to 12. Underway then in the second period. Australia with this narrow advantage to the USA with the restart. Matt Scott is one of those players who have come on, and the Americans hit the lead for the first time since right at the very start of this game. Jason Nelms scored the points. Australia looking to respond immediately with Justin Eveson. Well, knocked his own player over there. So the Australians will restart from the sideline. Michael Hartnett. Great basket from Sean Norris. The pass was a difficult one to take. Nelms did well to keep that ball in play. Here's Matt Scott. Co-captain Paul Schulter. And Schulter's pass was a very difficult one for Jeremy Lade to try to take it. In any case, they needed to be shooting for the basket at that stage. Timed out. You can see the difficulty of that pass, really stretched for that. Did Sean Norris. Made sure he made it. And grabbed the basket too, and Australia lead by 1. Back off the rim. America break quickly. This is a great chance. And they're back in the lead. Jeremy Lade. Australia with Brad Ness, their captain. Eveson, great pass. Oh, lovely ball back to Eveson. What a shame from a neutral point of view that the Australians couldn't finish that off. Now they have. But that won't count because the officials had already blown time off. And Yannick Blair, who gave that pass, is just a 1.0 classification athlete. It is the Australians to restart. Australia 15, the USA 16. Now here's the Australian captain, Brad Ness. Well, missed the basket, but yes, Matt Scott, who is hurt there. Reaches back and almost pulled over there by Matt Scott, who I think may have taken a stray arm. Stray arm from Brad Ness. Foul was by Matt Scott. $16 apiece, 17-16 now Australia, converting both of those free throws. And Scott fires for 2, but misses, and Australia, can they reach it? No. Brad Ness just couldn't gather that ball in. Almost 3 minutes played in this second period. Matt Scott, so he's plenty of room. Oh, it should have been a relatively simple basket. He gets another chance. And this time he makes no mistake, and the USA are back in the lead, 18-17. Real topsy-turvy game, this. Lead changing hands. Regular intervals. Knowles has it now. That was close. Well, allows the Americans the chance to break once more. If they score, that three-point lead would represent the furthest they've been ahead in this match, but they can't. It's still just the one they lead by. As Norris advances over that halfway line. Norris again. Out to the far side to Tristan Knowles. The USA imploring the official to say that ball was knocked out by an Australian. Well, it came off an Australian. Came off his face. I think that's right as well. Two bites of the cherry there for Knowles, and in the end, it's the Australian number 4, Justin Everson, who converts the basket. 19-18, Australia lead. Really good game. Matt Scott. Paul Scholter gets the ball out to the far side. America have only got a couple of seconds to get in the shot, and they're timed out. Knowles for Australia. Oh, superb. A three-pointer from Everson. Stretches the lead to 4. When you see a game as good as this, you can understand why wheelchair basketball really is one of the mainstays of the Paralympics. First featured at Rome in 1960. It's remained ever since in the Paralympic schedule. Women's competition added not much later, actually, 1968 in Tel Aviv. Well, that was worth seeing again. One or two changes being made now. That is Ian Lynch, who is coming on. The American number 13, 1.0 category athlete. So what that means, basically, he just counts 1 point towards the 14 that the USA can have on the court. Scott misses. Australia have it back. Just a pause for a second while Scott is back into his chair. The restart will be Australia's, who now lead by 4, with 4 3/4 minutes to go in this second quarter. And now the Australian lead through Knowles is stretched to 6 points. And the Americans lost the ball rather carelessly. And that's Scott saying it should have gone their way, but I think he rather gave himself up by making such a concerted effort to try to keep the ball in play. Dylan Alcott is on for the Australians. Now Knowles. And here's Alcott. Great basket from Dylan Alcott. 1.0 classification player. That certainly did well there. He's got the smartness up top, if you like. Now the Americans do need a basket or two here, and they've closed the gap to 6 points. And the Australians, who led it by only 1 point at the end of the first quarter, have stretched that advantage now to 6. Referee has seen an infringement. An American foul, so against Joseph Chambers, so Everson has the ball back for the Australians, who lead here by 6. Very nearly 8. Jeremy Lade gets the ball back to Joseph Chambers, who shoots, bounces back off the rim. And that's going to be a foul and an Australian restart. Bouncing around the rim. There's an Australian player out of his chair at the moment. The USA continue with Scott. Here's an opportunity, although he's going backwards all the time, Jeremy Lade. If America got that back, no, Australia can now break. Australia with Alcott. Finds Knowles. And that was great defence there from Schultz, the American captain, or co-captain. And Schultz back in possession now. Need this, America. The game is missed, and we're into the last 2 minutes of the second quarter here at the North Greenwich Arena. Women's match to come after this, also involving the Australians. They're up against the side from the Netherlands. That should be quite a game as well. Lade trying to find Scott, or thought about finding Scott anyway. Really near the basket there. An opportunity for Dylan Alcott to move forward for Australia. Finds Everson. Everson, long pass out to Norris, back to Everson. Shooting opportunity here for Alcott. Back off the rim, and Matt Scott over halfway. They need to make one or two of these baskets count just before the end of this second quarter. Well, Norris got the ruling, but I don't think he was happy that he had to wait. The play was called back there. But anyway, Australia have gone down court, drawn a foul from Schulter, and now free throws in the offing here for Sean Norris. He misses with the first. Clock stopped at 38.2 seconds in this second period, so approaching half-time. Straight through for a 7-point lead. That's Jim Glatch, the United States coach. His team only trailing by 1 at the end of the first period. Looks like being, well, it will be a much bigger deficit than that at the end of the second. Can they turn 7 into 5? Well, no, because Scott can't reach that. And again, Australia advance down court. Knowles. They'll keep the ball as long as they can and shoot at the last moment to deny America any time after at the basket. Well, they missed, but they used up all the time. Scott gets the loose ball. Hooter goes, and at half-time, America have a handsome lead. By no means insurmountable. Australia leading, but America by no means out of this contest, but they only trailed by 1 at the end of the first quarter. And now at the halfway stage, the score, Australia 27, the United States 20. You can see they extended that lead in that second quarter, won it by 14 points to 8. Australia looking good at the halfway stage, but all still to play for at the North Greenwich Arena. Join us in 10 minutes or so for the third quarter.
You've got to hard to follow now. Ready, ladies and gentlemen, ready, tell them all where you're from.
Freestyle as well.
Ready, right there, step to the middle of the floor. Tic-tac, tic-tac. Somebody's been practicing. You keep going, yo. Wonderful stuff. Right, ladies and gentlemen, this young lady is called Lola. Where are you from? Lola! Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to choose the winner. Do we make it contestant number 1? Contestant number 2? Contestant number 3? Ladies and gentlemen, let's get our wonderful Sydney people a big round of applause. Well done. Right, so I can come to Sydney and stay with you guys, right? Yeah? Yeah? It's just down the road. Got any more? I've been locked off. Well done, good job. So I can probably do a pushing the shout here on our week at SPPs and free weeks. Claire Rushton, no birthday, 9 years old, just excited to be here. Claire and Ravi. Here's Wheels, Fast Track Wheels, here with Happy D, Billy and Monty, Joe USA. Brilliant atmosphere, absolutely brilliant. Santa Backup says Joe Team USA, Paralympic basketball, rocks. Charlotte Hutchinson, I'm surrounded by bodies, but go USA. You're a brave lady, Charlotte. Henry Gravely says, "Come on, give us 51 tickets for my 60th birthday. Love and low." arena. I thought the name was Future was the Aussie national anthem. Very much a new club anthem. Jake Rose is so something that will take off for the atmosphere is awesome. So, just over 4 minutes ago for the teams to come back out onto the court, and you can tell why these teams are ranked 1 and 3, Australia and USA respectively. Really, really close game. Australia at the end of that first half, they're 87, 27 points to 20. Let's have a look at some of the highlights from that first half. So just about a minute and a half to go before the players come back out for the second half of what should be a great game. Good ball for weeks before we get into the way. Just want to quickly come up with a big script for the big shout out. A big welcome to
Comes into Shorty, Jay back in, back there. Ready on the high post, Shorty's coming around you. You're going to serious straight forward.
Just to burn flag.
Let's go. Offensively, keep your space, all right? Look to rotate the basketball. If we come into the bigs, there's nowhere to go. They're going to be swarming all over us. That's what happened. Watch your cuts, all right? If you go in from the weak side, make it off the seal action, so it forces their defense backwards a little bit and gives our big...
About to get underway with the third quarter here at the North Greenwich Arena. This men's Group A wheelchair basketball match between the unbeaten Australians. 3 victories out of 3. 2 out of 3 for the USA before tonight. They trailed by 1 point after the first quarter, by 7 now. Long distance attempted a three-pointer from the Australians to start this period, but now USA back in possession with Jason Nelms. That's Steven Serio. Serio can't quite find the opening he was hoping for. They were almost timed out there. Quick fire effort off beam as far as the Americans are concerned. Still in the first minute then of this third period with Norris, and Norris gets the ball to the number 10 Yannick Blair. Now Ness, the Australian captain, and that's a superb basket over on that far side by Justin Everson. Stretches the lead to 9. Well, the American shooting was so good at the start of this game and in that first quarter, but they noticeably dropped off a little in the second quarter, and now they're being made to suffer by the Australians because they have a double-figure lead. Just some running repairs. That very snazzy green wheelchair there of Sean Morris. Serio for the USC. 31-20. And at last, because it was 20 all at one stage, it's been one-way traffic since, but at last the USA get a couple of points back. Still trailing by 9. No way through for Everson, but what a superb pass that was to Yannick Blair. And the lead back to 11. Serio did well to find William Waller, joint captain of this USA team. Lead again cut to 9. But the Australians just aren't missing at the moment. That foul in mid-court was against Everson. And that basket, terrific basket, was from Steven Serio, the 24-year-old. Cuts the deficit to 9, and the USA have the ball back again. And if they score again here, which they have, it's back to 7. And if they can keep this up, then maybe they can catch the Australians. Oh, that is superb. He's having a wow of a game, is Sean Norris. Oh, misplaced pass there from Serio. Hands possession back to the Australians. Rare miss from Sean Norris. The Australians have been invincible up to now in this wheelchair basketball competitions. They started as America just cut the deficit by 2 with an absolute bashing. There's no other real word for it against South Africa. 93-39. Much closer against the Turkish side, 71-64, and reasonably close against Spain as well, 75-59, but they have won all of their 3 matches so far. The USA, well, they started with a defeat actually against Turkey, 59-50, but then they've beaten the Italians 77-51, and they too crushed the South Africans by 91 points to 29. As the USA have turned over the ball 9 times, the Australians only 5 times. That does help to explain, at least in part, why USA are trailing by 7. Serio gets a good ball. It's only 5 they're trailing by now because William Waller, their captain, has cut the arrears. So the Australians led by 7 at the halfway stage. They made hay really at the start of this 3rd period. They need to get on those loose balls though, the Americans really. Australia being given another opportunity. Balls hit the rim, so they won't be timed out here. Well, not unless they take a lot of time from here. They didn't. Knowles with the shot. A chance now for Serio to advance. Close. That would have made the game very interesting indeed, had that lead been cut to 3 points. A very quick game this. There haven't been many stoppages. Knowles, and then the shot from Michael Hartnett. It's a foul by Hartnett as well. So an opportunity here for the USA. So a timeout called. Hartnett with that foul, his first of the game. So the USA will have an opportunity here when we restart to cut that deficit. Wonderful noise inside the North Greenwich Arena. Ben Etheridge, the Australian coach. And they're just seeing a replay of Joseph Chambers. That basket for the USA. And some of the better moments for the USA in the 3rd period so far. He's been a key figure in the game, Sean Norris. USA to restart after that timeout. Trailing by 5 here. 3 minutes to go, just over in the 3rd quarter. Well, he needs support there. There's Nelms. In the end, he finds it. But Serio can't score the basket. And now Australia. And downfield. And down court, I should say. and they stretch the lead again to 7. If they're going to get back into this, the USA, they're going to have to make possession, like they had a few seconds ago, count. But there is another missed opportunity for them, and Tristan Knowles over halfway for the Australians. They've led all the way, Australia, right from the start, really. 13-12 at the end of the first quarter. They were up by more than the 1 point for most of that quarter. 27-20 at the end of the second quarter. And they've still maintained that 7-point lead. So Australia keeping the USA at arm's length. Lynch gets the return pass from Serio and then shoots and misses again, but America do have an opportunity off the rebound. Serio trying to make some space. It's the ball out to Nelms on the far side. Again off the rim, and Australia clear up. Well, the Australian coach, Ben Ettridge, looks worried, but I think they've reasserted control of this game, the Australians. That's a great ball, great long pass. The pass was from William Waller. The miss was from Stephen Serio. And now Knowles over halfway for the Australians. Norris to Everson. And Everson back to Sean Norris. And that's 2 more points in the lead. Out to 9 now, so it's looking better and better, this, for Australia. Unbeaten so far at London 2012. This is their 4th game. Free throws then to the USA. Norris takes a breather. Waller missed the first. But not the second. Lead cut to 8 with just a minute to go in this third quarter. Super shot from Latham. The ball from Stibners. The conversion from Bill Latham. USA trail by 10 now. 30 seconds on the clock. Third quarter. Spectacular fall there. Joseph Chambers. Shake of the head. Rueful from Jim Glitch. That's Latham's basket a moment or two ago. Oh, and right on time. The lead stretched to 12. There is the hooter for the third quarter. 45 plays 33. Probably no way back now, you sense, for the Americans. That was unquestionably Australia's quarter. Led it by 7. Now they lead by 12. Jim Glatch with a lot of work to do. 18-13, they won that quarter. So won it by 5. They won the previous one by 6, but there was more of a sense, I think, in that third quarter that Australia was starting to really dominate, because most of the USA points came very early in that quarter. And the minute they threatened to make a game of it, the Australians, well, they just put their foot on the gas once more.
Get Tristan with an extended yo-yo, not a haywire jump. An extended yo-yo.
I'd like to tell you that they're all looking at me, but they're not. Don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter @Paralympic. And you can tell us anything you want about the Paralympic Games here at London 2012. Hope you're enjoying our coverage. Well, let us know which is your favourite sport here at London 2012, and maybe even why you like it so much. Are you a big fan of this event, the wheelchair basketball? Earlier today, I witnessed a terrific game, a 5-setter in the sitting volleyball for women, as we start the fourth and final quarter with America trailing by 12. Wonderful basket straight off for the Americans. Well, they need to carry on shooting like that, and hope that Australia's form just dips a little bit. I wouldn't bank on that. Knowles found Stibners. Got the shot in the nick of time. Got a free throw as well as the 2 points. Misses, so just the 2 for that basket. Lead back out to 12. Last 9 minutes or so of this match. Don't forget, later on, bring you coverage of the women's wheelchair basketball from here at the North Greenwich Arena. Maybe a gap of about half an hour between the 2 matches, but hope you'll stay with us and watch what should be an exceptionally good game between Australia and the Netherlands. Knowles for Australia. Excellent dribbling from Knowles. Shot not through the basket though. Australia managed to regather possession. It will be they who restart. Simmons gets the ball to Knowles. Simmons mighty close. America can breathe a sigh of relief, and the USA now over halfway. And Serio's pass to Joshua Turek. Joshua Turek was fouled and takes full advantage with the first of his 2 free throws. Latham's third individual foul. And Turek makes them pay. 2 out of 2. Cuts the Australian lead, but it's still double figures. Very close from Matt Scott. Stibness turns the ball back to Blair. And that won't count. That won't count. Moment's pause. Well, a couple of substitutions are made. It's the US with the restart. Turek and Barber combined, Serio and then Scott. Two more free throws for the USA. Scott has missed the first of them, though. Potentially costly misses there. Clock stopped at 7:25. US get the restart. I don't think there was much Dylan Alcott could really do there. But it was a foul nonetheless. Eric Barber. Well, he's a sharp shooter. 1.0 classification. But Barber knows where the basket is. 7 minutes to go. 8 points the Australian lead. Oh, terrific. Everson. As soon as they have a sniff, as soon as they have a glimmer, the USA, that's what the Australians do. Well, they got lucky there, the USA. That was a really sloppy pass. They will restart the game, though. Trevon Jennifer. The ball out to the USA number 7, Joshua Turek, but no basket on that occasion. Everson. Ran into a brick wall called Eric Barber, basically. Third foul that from Barber. Another super basket from Sean Norris. Plays for the Perth Wheelcats in Perth in Western Australia. The game's slipping away now from the USA. Well, eventually, Trevon Jennifer scores. Again, cuts the lead to 10. 5.5 minutes still remaining. Jennifer, who plays in Bay City, USA. Timeout called.
Every time. You two are hunting him. Just go and hunt him. So we break that line. Doing a good job, big to big. As soon as it gets over halfway, they're coming back. So we need to cross. Even though the ball comes over, we have to cross out of here and take out someone else. Okay? 5:28. We're not going negative, but we don't need to rush anything. We still need to be aggressive, spacing, all the good things, but create it from the backcourt. Okay? Go, boys. Defense, everything's overhand, box out, long rebounds, box out, get a hand up. 1, 2, 3. Roll two.
Well, I think the keynotes from that little address from Ben Ettridge, still be aggressive, but I think he's absolutely spot on here. The Australians do not have to rush anything. They can take their time getting to the basket with 5 minutes and 20-odd seconds remaining. Another USA miss, and to be honest, they have to convert just about everything, to be honest, in the last 5 minutes or so here. Ness for Australia. And they'd also, in all honesty, have to hope that Brad Ness and his Australian teammates didn't score from positions like that. But they've got their shooting boots on. Lost their way a little bit here, the USA. They're having to force the issue, of course. To Sean Norris. That won't count from Ness. Sean Norris is a 3.0 class athlete. He'd just about be my man of the match if I was being asked to choose, which I'm not, I hasten to add. Nobody has asked me to perform that role. Another foul from Trevon Jennifer, the restart to Australia. Another minute has elapsed since that last time out. Got to get to the shot in 5 seconds, which they did, but missed anyway. Well, that's very costly because the USA have conceded the foul while they were in possession of the basketball. Important for the USA that they keep going here. Even if they lose, they'll want to lose by as small a margin as possible. In all honesty, I think the USA are still very, very firm favourites to qualify for the quarterfinals. It's a rather strange format to the tournament, as Everson scores again with 4 out of the 6 teams in each group going through to the quarterfinals. But if you finish 4th, you're going to get a pretty hard draw, to be honest. Joshua Turek for the USA, but that will be too little and too late for them, trailing by 12. 3 minutes and 26 seconds remain. Easy for Brad Ness, the Australian captain. So 12 points was the advantage at the end of the third quarter. Even after that basket, terrific basket as well from Steven Serio, the margin is still 12. Free throws to Australia. Well, Norris only made 1 from 2. The Australians got the ball back though, and in the end, on this visit to the American end of the court, they picked up a useful 3 points, and the lead now is 15. 60 plays 45, 60 plays 47. 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. Well, Trevon Jennifer cuts the score to 61-49. We're into the last 2 minutes of this game. Long pass downfield, misplaced by Justin Eveson. Timeout called, but I don't think it's going to make too much difference to the eventual outcome. The Australians have this wrapped up here at the North Greenwich Arena.
Every time. Let's go, guys.
Under 2 minutes then to go. USA trying for the three-pointer. Australia emerge with the ball with their captain Brad Ness. Foul by Paul Schulter. Yannick Blair able to add 1 out of the 2 from the free throws. 80 seconds remaining. Serio for the USA finds Nelms. Back to Serio. Off the rim and out, and an Australian ball. Schulter walking the tightrope now in terms of fouls, but it won't really matter this close to the end of the game. Well, a few examples of the sharp shooting in this fourth and final quarter. Problem for the USA. There's not enough of theirs have actually resulted in 2-pointers. Well, that was a great shame for the USA. It was their player who was on the floor, hence the stoppage. The three-pointer was tremendous. Doesn't count, though. And they haven't even got the 2 there. Ness forward to Norris. Well, another timeout called.
Finish out the last 40 seconds of this game strong. Get the ball mid-court, run the same thing. What I was looking for.
Jim Glatch, the USA coach, finished the last 40 seconds of the game strong. That's what he is telling his USA team. Hasn't been their day. I think the problem for the USA is they never ever held the lead. Well, maybe by 1 point or 2 points at one stage in the early part of the game, but they never got 3 or 4, 5 or 6 points ahead of Australia to really see how the Aussies reacted under pressure. They've held them at arm's length, have Australia. I think it's probably the best way of putting it, and they've, in the last couple of quarters, really shown their class. 40 to go then. The USA with Schulte. And Nelms, but they've lost the ball. An Australian miss, but they have the ball back. The countdown begins. There's nothing anybody can do now. The Australians have won this by 65 points to 49. So they've won by 16. Wasn't always that comfortable. Very much, as we'd call it in Great Britain, nip and tuck, very tight in the opening 2 quarters. But then since the half-time interval, it is the Australians who have really up to gear. Got into 5th or 6th if you've got a posh car. And in the end, they have won by 16 points. So Australia played for, won for. They, for sure, will be in the quarterfinals. Just Italy for them to play tomorrow. The USA now played 4-1-2. They've still a chance, particularly if they beat the Spanish. Still a really good chance for the United States to qualify for the quarterfinals. Well, I hope very much you've enjoyed that first wheelchair basketball match from the North Greenwich Arena. It's evening here in London. In 35 minutes or so time, there will be another match here in North Greenwich. The Australians again feature against the Dutch women, the women from the Netherlands. Big cheers here for the Australians and the Americans, because they played their part for sure in that match, but Australia in the end just too strong. Rejoin us in 35 minutes for the women's group game between Australia and the Netherlands. But signing off with the score from the North Greenwich Arena in the men's preliminaries Group A, Australia have beaten the USA by 65 points to 49.